All right, what's going on, everyone? Jared Couture here from Kung Fu Music Lessons, Two Cities, One World. And today I'm super excited. I'm with my great friend, Mr. Piero Epifania. And I met Piero maybe 5 or even 6 years ago, something now, in Bulgaria. And Piero is an incredible percussionist, drummer, musician in general. He played with us in Two Cities, One World. I played with him in his band. We basically are musical colleagues and have done a lot together. But Piero has really reached some serious levels of mastery as a musician in general. So I'm so excited to have you here to share. Thanks so much, Piero.
Thank you
So
for the
yeah.
invitation, Jared. Germany.
So yes, sir. So if you will, Pierre, would you go ahead and just tell people a little bit about your musical background, like how you started, where you're from, and progression until your career, and kind of where you're at right now?
Yeah. So basically, I started playing since I have 8 years old. No? So I was the kid that wants to get into the band of the school because I grew up in in the seaside, and in a ghetto where it's full of music. So actually, it's very popular from where I am. These typical battles of bands, no. So let's say the school A with the school C fighting. I mean, it's very cool because we have, let's say, the school have two different types of orchestras or bands. No, it's like the musical one when you have a brass section, full percussion. No, and the one that is like we call like banda de guerra, which is like a war band that is like typical just drums. No, for actually it's just to go outside. No, you take the whole school on the with the rhythm of the band, just go and walk around for a big celebration. I think you have similar stuff in the US, but this is in Lima is very typical. Well, anyway, so these bands, this was my, let's say, how I approach music, trying to get in this band, but I was too little. They allow you to get there from, I think, second grade, third grade. So I was in the first grade, 7 years old. They don't allow you, so I wait these 2 3 years to get approved from the band. And this is my real contact with music, not playing trumpet. So I start playing trumpet. But of course, I meet music before listening the music from my grandparents, what they hear at home. No? Usually, my grandmother, that she passed away, was a very happy and cheerful woman, always putting this Caribbean music, boleros, and guarachas, and all this music from Latin America. So I grew up with these genres, and then the albums of my father and my neighbors, which they were listening basically rock and roll, rock music, pop music. So, and then in the band, listening more like adaptations of classical pieces or soundtracks, making adaptation for this arrangement, not for this ensemble, or for brass section, drums. So that's how I started, no? This mix between tropical rock and roll and this, let's say, orchestra band mixture.
Wow, that's cool, man. That's so interesting. I never heard you say that. That's very fun. But what about just the music in Peru, like in Lima at the time or now still? I mean, like, didn't you say? I mean, you're hearing music anyway. People just playing music. Aren't more people just playing all the time? What about your family? Did your family play music? Anyone?
Uh, well, in Peru, I have I'm blessed, very lucky that I grew up with a lot of musical people. The family of my best friend, family Delgado, is the last name, I mean, of this family. No, my best friend, his brothers. they were very musical, and they put me in more like a field music, more like going to rock. They make me a drummer because I never wanted to be a drummer. That they
Oh,
once they
that's
were
cool.
in the living room of the house, and they say they were playing. No, I wanted to play guitar at that time, and but they were no guitars. They were playing all guitar
Ah,
and bass player, one bass, like three, four guitars. Even the father was playing electric, acoustic, and no instruments. So the older brother gave me sticks and said, "You are the drummer," but there is no drummer. Okay, he gave me a bongo and also sticks. So I was managing between the couches and the bongos because I was playing trumpet now before. That's how I started. So anyway, I have very good luck because such a beautiful people and super musical people around me. My
mhm.
grandfather, he's a carpenter, and he has a very beautiful voice. So when he was working, he used to sing or making sounds, and very on tune, very tuned and super refined. So I got a lot of influence from this. No?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
So
and
what
in
about,
no Peru, the culture itself,
yeah.
we the whole I think Latin America from Argentina to I think the whole America is such an interesting continent, no? Full of fresh and really rich music. I, th- I agree with some people in Latin America giving this opinion. I have the same. I just continue sharing this. Is like this was that place to do music, no? The last centuries. I mean, that place, everything comes from America, from Canada to Argentina. No, you have, I mean, rock, pop, bossa nova in Brazil, all this Latin music, for example, from where I am now, Peru, Afro-Peruvian music, which is like, it has subgenres, Landó, Festejo, that you know we play together. So it's such it's like a big fat beast of rhythms and harmonies and music. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So of course we play a lot, but I don't know which is exactly this idea that the people have about Latin America. The ones that don't know Latin America, that people are just crazy playing on the street. Not like this, of course, but probably in some countries, but not in Peru or not from where I am. But we definitely are very musical people, and you from where I am in Callao, in Lima, you always find someone that a neighbor that or plays some tropical music or rock or I don't know music for weddings, for funerals, whatever. You know, they just play. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What about when did you actually start playing the cajon? What age were you?
Uh, well, actually, I play cajon because I started as a drummer. No, in my percussive life, my in, me as a percussionist, I started working as a drummer. So around when I was I think like 16 years old, 17 years old, I started getting proper pay and going for gigs. So around, I think, start playing cajon, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, because there was a band that hired me and around, yeah, 18. Because sometimes you have gigs that you cannot go with a drum set, no? So I use it more as a convenient instrument. Even though the whole country is full of cajons and guitar, because this is the basic set, no, for Peruvian music. Acoustic guitar, cajon, and one of those guys has to sing. So this is the basic. No? So it's like, I mean, for rock power trio or like a trio of jazz or I don't know. This is the setup for folklore for the seaside, no, in the seaside. So yeah, around this age, 18, something like this.
Wow. But you were playing many instruments the whole time, right? Singing and
Yeah,
piano
yeah.
and guitars, whatever. I mean,
I think yeah, I started with trumpet, then I jumped to drum set. In between, I was always playing guitar, but because I'm a big fan of guitar. I mean, it's the girl that I always love and will never take me serious.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but so I'm in love with guitar. I mean, I will always with guitarists because it's my favorite instrument, no? One of my favorite instrument, guitars. Sorry. So yeah, then I jumped to drum, then percussion, then keyboard, and yeah, changing instruments, whatever it comes to me, because for me, more than being a musician, uh, whatever it means, I think I'm more musical. So I try to express myself through music. And if I have the chance to play keyboard, I will do my best to canalize my ideas and my feelings and put it in music. But it doesn't need to be percussions, no? It doesn't need to be singing. It can have any form, any shape.
Yeah, cool, man. So what about your music after, maybe after leaving Peru? You traveled a lot and played. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that had influenced your music and maybe changed some things about how you play or think?
Yeah, I think we are constantly changing, no? Constantly. I think. Uh,
You know, where did you travel to when you left Peru? Where all did you go and play?
so, well, being in Latin America, from Peru, then Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico. Then I went to Europe. Then I was traveling in the Balkans, no, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Turkey, living in every place at least 3 months, 6 months. And then, well, then I moved in Bulgaria. I stay in Bulgaria, which is a country that treats me like home, no? Somehow it's like my second home, or it's my home. Because I left Peru for almost 10, will be, I don't know, 8, 10 years. So they treat me very good. We met there. So great. And then I went to China and started traveling there. And then I came back. No? So, of course, every trip change, change, sometimes make a very significant changes. Sometimes it's just a color, no? But of course, no, learning, having the chance to play with locals, and the main thing is like to don't have any intention to really get better or to take advantage of a situation or to chase to learn a better technique or to know people. I mean, no intention of nothing, just going, no, just going. No, I think this was uh, my big advantage was in life traveling was like I always keep this empty and innocent way of observing music in my trip because I rarely have an intention to master or to develop much. Just play all the time, playing and trying to survive because I was living from music also, no. So it's a mix of surviving and learning and just knowing the world, yeah, through music, no. Yeah,
That's very cool. Very cool, very organic way.
it happened like this, man. I think it's like sometimes when it happens, it's just like this. Of course you change, no, with the time, but I think I always keep this fresh eyes for a new place and new music, yeah, by nature, no, it's just happening, yeah.
Hmm. Can you share maybe something that you have, like something specific that you have learned from one of those places, or maybe musically,
uh,
like how has it impacted your
yeah,
music specifically, like one example, or what's something that was really like a light bulb, like something very cool that hit you from some being in some new place, maybe some new rhythm, or just a life
yeah.
experience that impacted you, like
Oh, many, many.
Yeah.
But for example, in Europe, a very significant moment was when I was in Macedonia and met Tony Kitanowski, which is a good friend of mine, and I consider him my master. And this guy just we met in a bar, and I don't know, with coins. I just have I found a harmonica, so this was the only instrument that I had. So I play harmonica in the bridge to survive because I have no money, and I make some cash, and I decide to buy some food and go for a beer, only one beer, because no money. And then I met this guy because it was the only chance that I have for listening live music. So I invest the working day on there, and then I met Tony, and he was playing guitar with the electric guitar with a guy from Brazil, and they sound very cool, and I like them, and we start talking, but I didn't know who is this guy, and said, but you also play music, no? He told me. I said, yeah, I play also, but he didn't even knew how I play, or he didn't know what I play, and he invited me to play. He said, I think you look like you play. I say, yeah, I play, but what do you play? I play percussion, drums, I mean, that's what I do. Uh, I play keyboard also, but which is your instrument? I play percussions. No, I mean, if you want to go serious, to cook proper, I have to take my position. No, so we say, okay, cool, let's play, let's play. Are you free to play? I don't know, next week? Yeah, but I don't have instrument. No problem, let's go. We buy you an instrument. So this guy took me without knowing me. We went to a music shop. He bought a cajon for me, and he said, okay, let's start geeking from tomorrow. And we just started making like a small tour in Skopje. We play many bars.
Oh my
And he
gosh.
was the first one that gave me the chance to just express in this thing that I didn't knew what it is, which is jazz. I'm not a jazz musician at all, but I always appreciate, no? So, and he said, I mean, can you play like New Orleans? I said like, no, man, what's that? I don't play this stuff. But all my ignorance, no? And he was helping me, no? But it's like this, showing me the beat, and then just keep it. So we were playing together. And then he said, but what do you feel more comfortable? And I start showing some Latin American rhythms, no? And he said, and he liked one artist, a Peruvian artist, which is, her name is Eva Young. Eva Young is a fantastic singer from Peru, and he told me the story that they played together in Thessaloniki. So he said, "Oh, I remember this woman, amazing, and this rhythm that they were playing. Can you play this?" And he remembered the name, this Lando. Yeah, of course. So I play, and we start to improvise, and yeah, as a very significant story, one of the stories, let's say, in Europe, was this moment with Tony, that he, out of courtesy and without knowing anything about me, not even my name, not even who I am. He just offered this zero interest help because he somehow have a feeling that I play,
That's
and it
amazing.
works actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it works, and this works so good that a lot of people start coming to the show. He was already about to. Actually, he invited me to release his new album. I was playing percussion for the presentation of his album, like amazing experience, no, from zero, from being on the bridge, trying to make some points, getting a fantastic small tour in the city, playing in the best clubs, and I mean that shows the power of music now. Wherever you are, I mean, you
That's
know.
an amazing story, man. That's so cool. I have to hear this person's music now. Tony. I have to check it.
Tony is a master. Tony is a master, and we all the people I think that work with Tony, we love him. Such a nice human, very good, amazing musician. Who last show we had was 1 year and a half ago in Skopje Jazz Fest with a very good ensemble, like it's amazing musicians, and I have I mean, the good luck and the privilege to be part of this group of musicians, and all of them cool. Yeah, this is one of the stories in Europe and another things in Latin America, another things in China. I mean,
So what are some of the bands you've been playing with, let's say for the past 3 years or something? Like what, yeah, what's been happening? Because I know that you have, you know, your own project with
yeah.
Ayembaya and then also Ritmos Negros. And then also the clarinet guys. And like, yeah,
Ah,
what
yes.
all is happening? You tell me, you know.
Yeah. Well, the last 3 years, I'm basically focused on Ritmos Negros, which is a band. Uh, it's a Bulgarian band because we make it in Bulgaria. Actually, Jared was supporting. You were supporting, man. You were supporting in the very beginning when I have the idea, even before the name, even before everything. When I just got the idea. So then with Simo, guitarist, Boris Statlev in bass, and Arnau saxophone. So we are quartet. This is my main project for the last 3 years, I think. We just we released an album 2 years ago almost, and which basically is a compilation of classic Afro-Peruvian pieces with our compositions. No? I write. The album has 10 songs because actually this album was kind of a compilation of what happened live because we never thought about making an album or anything. We just were playing. We were just playing there. And actually, when I invited you in the beginning, we were just playing, and that's something like naturally happened. And we just play. More people like it, so we see that we should get a little bit more serious and record it. So we record 5 of the songs that we always play in the show, plus 5 songs that I wrote. So this was and it's my main project with Rimos Negros. It's like a family. We have a very nice energy always around when we get together, and it's the musically is very rich because we are playing Afro-Peruvian music, but with the knowing that the background of the Gosimo it's flamenco and classical music. So there is a flamenco classical guy playing Afro-Peruvian music. So this approach is different, no? And the sound is different. Uh, Boris play everything. You know, Boris, you also play with Boris. Boris is such an amazing bass player, such an amazing person, fantastic musician. So he's very skilled and he's very chameleonic. He's very flexible for music. So, yeah, with Boris also took some time, but he got it, and his background is, I think, from rock to jazz. No, he's a jazz musician. So, and Arnau, that is 100% jazz. No, this guy is pure jazz with some contemporary touch of like a pop jazz, and he likes also appreciate electronic, and he likes new stuff, which it really fit with me because I also am naturally getting called from this new stuff. So this is my main project, Ritmos Negros. Then we're playing, touring now. We are in quarantine, so nothing, but we are playing in Europe and some invitations from China also. So the band is there, working for new material now. Then Yembaya, which is a project that I did for my compositions also that were basically moments that I was I work on the project very methodic. It's a very different approach because usually when I make when I establish something as a project or give a name, it's because it's already something happening. I just put some formality. but it's alive, it's sounding, it's working. But in this case, in Yembaya was the opposite. So I didn't have anything, so I record everything. I record percussion, bass, guitars, keyboards, vocals, everything. So I just make the demos, and this was my first approach with technology that working uh, online, no, sharing tracks. So basically, I did the demos. Then I met the one that helped me a lot to work with Emil. Emil is a sound engineer from Bulgaria, extremely nice person. That if it's not because of him, I would never have this album because he helped me technically and energetically also. Like very cool, very nice element, and good to work with someone open for new things. Of course, with my humble aporte, like what I can give, no, because I mean it's just my point of view. There is nothing new there. It's just more music, but it's my this angle, no, that I have. Yeah, I record this EP. It wasn't a album, so Yembaya is basically more like contemporary music with a lot of folklore elements, no. In this album, we have the pleasure to combine like some Bulgarian vocals from the fantastic master from Kipri. Because as a friend, I get to know this Bulgarian coro, these vocals. So two of them came to the studio to record, which was very interesting because they have to record African pattern with the Bulgarian style.
Oh yeah.
No, because we there is a song that is called dance and it's called ida vida da de takati 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 triples, no? Ida vida da de, but it's like ida vida da de, the sound more rounded. But these are Bulgarian ladies singing Bulgarian folklore, pure. So it was very hard for them, but was great because in the recording I said, okay, just do it how you feel, and they change it. They make it more plain, and they apply this border, this keeping the fundamental tone, no?
Yeah,
The
drum.
kind of fundamental, and then on top, no, very famous, no, and I just apply this technique basing of African rhythm, Afro-Peruvian rhythm. So this was my trip in this time with the Yembaya. And yeah, and then what else? Working with always with many musicians. Also, I have the opportunity to go back to rock and roll because I mean I grew up with rock and I play with the Skidniks, a band with Ivo and Nupri, very rock and roll guys from Bulgaria, and to enjoy this freshness, no, this all rock and roll guys still sounded fresh as fuck, like super like punching in the face, no, like this energy, like punch. I'm getting a little bit more back to my roots because lately that's what I was doing, going back, no, Afro-Peruvian music, rock and roll, uh, mixing with what I have the vision, no. Yembaya was more like what we like to play and to hear, and Skidnik, Ritmos Negros were more like these are my base, no. This is of course I'm like a sponge getting from everywhere, but there are certain things that are always like a base, no, and the base is like of course your root from where you are, and one of those genres are this Afro-Peruvian music and rock and roll, salsa also because from where I am full of tropical music, no. So
That's cool,
and
man.
more projects, but I mean playing no time to time. What else? Playing with bands that hire you, significant with Tony. No, Tony calls me time to time for gigs. Then supporting some artists in Bulgaria, but I don't have it now in mind. But then, like when we work together, also, no. I mean, of course, I mean, I always uh, support your idea because you are. I mean, you are the composer. You do. This is your project. No? I go as a percussionist.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I want to talk about a little and share as well is, for me, meeting you was really interesting because your viewpoint on music was just very different than pretty much anyone I knew. And I really love that uniqueness. That's like why I want to interview you too, because you have such a unique perspective and mindset, and it's really authentic to who you are. You really are staying true to who you are, and I love that and I respect that. And I think that shows up in your music in a really great way as an artist, and that's kind of how you have to be a good artist, maybe, you know, just being authentic and really being yourself. But one thing in the Kung Fu music lesson program that I've added now, well, it's, this is after Bulgaria, but after traveling, because I was in St. Louis, then I went to LA, and I had traveled around the world before, younger as a kid. Like I went to Africa, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to different
Yeah, I remember.
different islands, different places. I've seen some different things. It's really changed my life, as a young person. But going to Bulgaria really, really did a lot,
That's
and
significant.
it was very significant. And I realized something because, I was a trained musician, in a way. I went to 3 colleges. MI, I went to community college for a year, then I went to UMSL for a year and a half, and then MI.
Mm.
But I left the second college because I left and went to MI originally because I didn't like the idea that, and sometimes in the music education, it's like people think that there's like sometimes there's like, it's if you're playing anything other than classical and jazz music, it's like nonsense. Sometimes people are too arrogant or snooty. I don't want to sound mean, but thinking, only one way. And what I learned is after moving, so I learned rhythm, for example, from all these places. But then I meet you and I meet all these in Bulgaria, and the way that people think about rhythm is completely different. So what
Yeah,
I've noticed in traveling the world is like the
Bulgaria
way
is
people think about music in general can really be different in different places. So to think that music is only the way that you've learned it from one source or one university or one institution or one country or one state is very, it's actually small-minded, actually. So it's like, it's so important to travel and learn, because I learned rhythm in a completely different way, people counting different, people thinking different. There's also just different rhythms and different cultures that are normal, and I think genre, the real word for that is culture, because it's really like a different culture, it's a different place you live. So for example, in the green strap, that's a 5th level of 9 levels. Everybody has to study 2 countries other than where they live, and they have to be able to demonstrate
nice.
rhythms from at least 2 places than where they live. So this is just the beginning. But
Mm.
I think like in a university and in this program, like there's a lot of world music, because all the schools that I've checked out in the US, there's not very many that have any kind of world rhythms outside of like classical and jazz and music from like the States and Latin America for sure too. But it's like, man, the world's so much bigger. And I think the real lessons are inside. We got to just study the world and understand culture and people, and that's like the best way. And so I think being with you is a good eye opener for that, because I played in your band for a year and a half, just me and you, Peruvian
Yeah.
music, which was a very big learning curve for me. It was very tough in the beginning and just different, but really changed everything and like added so much. I've like came out as a new person, and so I really
I'm very
appreciate that.
happy. It's I think I don't know who gains more, if you or me, because having the possibility to share something, uh, I think gives a lot for the one that gives. It's very nice, beautiful, and it's so nice to what you said, not to travel through music. Is amazing. It's very cool what you are doing with in the school. Uh, I will uh, I will add like of course we're talking about culture, folklore, no? So it's very important to live what you are playing, no? Of course, it's not needed. You don't need to get so intense, because I know sometimes I can sound too intense, but it's very important, I think, in order to get this sound, no, this specific sound that you want to achieve, is to take it out of your mind and also just enjoy and suffer and live whatever it is from this source what you want to explore and learn. Let's say if you want to know for our examples in Bulgaria, such a beautiful culture and such a rich culture in terms of rhythm, but you cannot just study and go to 7/8 or not 7/9 13. Something that I personally I admire these percussionists, like wow, amazing. But my personal case, I don't feel a desire to master something like this. I think it's for me it's enough to know uh, to have the long process of learning. No, so it's like okay, you study the metric, you study the music, the patterns, uh, the ornaments, the structure, but also it's very important to eat the food that they eat, to be in the area where they are, to see what they see, because all these details give you the possibility to sound as it is the folklore. Folklore sounds very specific, and why it's so rich? Because you are in a very specific point in the world. So this is, I mean, thanks to whoever you want to thank. I mean, we are artists everywhere that we can just represent how it feels to be in a specific place, in a specific mood, celebrating specific things. So it's very on point. No? So I think as close as you get to the culture, not only in musical terms, uh, as expressions, no, as like the daily life. Yeah, to understand how they see things, what they drink, what they eat, which is the common pattern between them, how they see life. Are they really seeing life? Or they just whatever? I mean, to observe all the details that will allow you to sound as this folklore sound. And if, of course, if you are, this only can happen because life put you in this situation, or because you are a very big fan of a specific music, because there is no lifetime, I guess, to really get it from everywhere. There is no lifetime. It's impossible, but probably some virtuosos could do it, but I think it doesn't make much sense also to do it, to go everywhere. I mean, I think in certain point of your life you get in love with something, or you get you have to be in a place, so you just enjoy and take as much as you can, and so your sound will be the best, no,
Yeah.
closer to the source.
Yeah, man. All right. I got some question for you. So, what about what advice do you have to musicians or yeah, to artists in general about being authentic, being themselves, being a true artist, and just in general, like whatever you want to say about music, kind of your perspective, like how you think about music. What are some ways that one could think about music, or other perspectives someone could have to open up from your perspective? Like how do you think about music? What are some advices you'd like to share from very from your personal perspectives you think people could benefit from? Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think first of all, people should stop thinking about something benefit. I mean, why to get benefit? Why to? I mean, why you want to be the best? Why you want to be great? Why you want to sound like Marcus Miller? Why you want to sound like Chick Corea? Why? I mean, first of all, I don't get it. So, but I don't think my advice will be that good because I mean, I'm not a person that die for music. I've just used music as a channel, but of course, it's my biggest love. No, this is the thing that I love the most, and this is the only thing that really um, canalize my life and give me certain there is nothing secure, but if there is something secure, in the case that something that secureness exists, is what you believe, no? And I think music saved my ass many times, give me direction when I didn't have. I think what I can recommend, if I can recommend something, it makes sense to listen to what I say. So I would say like, let's don't get so this big interest of getting something. No, it's just like go, man, just play. And the most beautiful is to have music as a very pure and sincere and total love, no? Like, but according to your personality, my words sound like this because are my words. But for you, you have another way to say. The thing is that we feel the same. We feel. We don't talk much. Not to feel. When you catch your bass, when you catch your drums, when you catch your trombone, to have this feeling. Because in the end, if you don't have this feeling, why you? I mean, playing is like there is no magic. So I think if I can recommend something, will be like let's benefit, let's stop this. I will get benefit from somewhere, from someone, from something. Just play, man. Play, and of course you have to have seasons and colors. I recommend to any musician to have as many of all of us have naturally to respect and enjoy our seasons. No, when it's time to get very disciplined and practice 8, 10 hours, 12 hours, practice. If there is a time that you feel like lazy, you want to just have fun, have fun. If you want just to, you want to feel like uh, fresh, like applying, combining experience with what you know, creating, do it. If you feel just repeating or imitating someone, do it because anything that you do in music is plus. Everything. From practicing like crazy to being lazy. Everything is fitting your musicality and it's giving food to your personality as an artist.
That's cool. I like it. All right, last question, man. What about you talked about the magic in the music? How this is like whatever. How could you put how could you make sure the music is magical? Like how do you bring the life to music? How do you make sure how do you put the life in the music and how do you create more and more magic, you know?
Uh, how you create more magic in music, you said.
Yeah, make it come to life, make it magical. How sometimes we take the magic away, sometimes it's very very amazing experience, you know. So when we're talking about those amazing magical mystical experiences, how can you create those easier? How could one do that? Or how do you do it? Like what's your thought process or approach, you know, to
I
giving
don't
the
think there
life?
is a formula. I don't think there is a formula, but for me, what by the way, I don't have any, uh, it's impossible for me to premeditate this that, oh, this show will be magical. There is
Right.
no way. There is no, this show will be great, like top, like everybody will trip. No, this doesn't happen with me. But I observe with experience that there is certain, uh, let's say, certain facts that allow you to at least to get closer to this magic of music, no? Which is like get to know your instrument, no? Get to know your instrument as much as possible. And what else? Sorry, I got distracted with Nala.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Nala, say hi to Piero. Yeah,
Yeah, making magic. This.
yeah.
So, not get to know your instrument, get to know your people. It's not needed, but actually helps a lot because, or get to know the piece, no? But because I'm not a big fan of reproducing music of other, even though I'm a big fan of artists. Like I respect and admire and follow artists, but I like this music that is more like a la representation of now, no? So you play what is happening now, but yeah, get to know your people, get to know your instrument, hear yourself, hear the others. Uh, to have certain like eye contact probably for taking risk, no? Because you can jump. So hey, you keep an eye that the drummer is holding, you know. You can jump, make a solo, but the drummer is super solid that you can really jump like as much as you want. You know? Like you go in the mountain and jump and you know that you won't die. But no, this like this I have this in music because I'm a band musician. Also, I have this brotherhood. We play together. I like to support the other, to listen the other, to play together. And this can, of course, no. I mean, this the representation of this is technically there are many ways. No, I mean, harmonizing, making solo, and all this blah 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 that you know better than me. But the main point is like to be confident, confident of yourself and confident of the other that can support you, and to don't be afraid. No, many people say this, and I will steal this from great people because I think the good stuff should continue and we should repeat good things. And as a big master said, they say it, and even if you are not a master, you should repeat it. It's like, I mean, trust yourself and jump. I mean, just go. If you make a mistake, you have to fix it in the moment. So this fixing in the moment, or this imbuing more what is already beautiful, that's the real music, like live music, no? That's why this is probably something that can be said as a magic, no? So it's very important is to flow, but keeping an eye of the other because in the end it's communication. So we need to tell a story or we need to talk together, but we cannot. I mean, it's not pleasant to keep a fight or to just don't understand what you are saying or what I'm saying. No, so we need to communicate. Yeah, and then what else? I mean, then feel comfortable, no? Like, but I'm not sure because also being uncomfortable is very helpful because when sometimes you go to this when we were younger, no, this typical. I guess many of us happen pass through this like a bar life. You are 17 to 20 probably years old. You have to play in these shitty clubs, like the worst sound, like no public almost, and this very sad and miserable situation. I think it's great, man. I think it's great because some of these moments are brilliant. So
Oh, man,
no, for me.
we used to have a lot of fun, man, playing. I remember we would do. I mean, we would take a lot of chances, and really improvise and play some
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
yeah, some things are
I
great.
remember
Sometimes
one time Carlos, he's like, "Hey, man, that's too much." He's like, you're playing some
this.
too crazy. The people are eating food. This is insane. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
no,
man,
I'm
but
having fun, man. I'm just over here. Oh man, that's fun.
yeah, man.
But yeah, I don't know what you're saying. Just being in the now, just being real, putting the real life right now in the music that is the music. It's just, yeah, this is now. This is it.
Yeah, because anyway, the past is it's with you already. So it doesn't exist, but it's with you at the same time.
Yeah,
So if you are playing now it's already sounding probably all the times, no? The future, the past is like a combination, it's no time. So you are sound. So your sound can touch more and first to your connect to yourself and connect to the others if it's more it's like now anyway, whatever you want to are tripping in the past, what you practice or how you feel about your parents, your girl or your kids or whatever, man, it's not there, you know. Anyway, it's part of you. It's in your fingers already because it's in you. So anyway, it will sound.
Yeah.
So you don't need to think about this. It's already there.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Awesome, Piero. That's I think that's good enough for now. Thank you so much for meeting with me and having this conversation, guys.
Thank you, man.
If you want to get in touch with Piero, check out his website. I'll post a link to all that stuff. He also does recording sessions for people, teaches online lessons, and does all kinds of musical projects. So, but make sure you listen to his music. You know, dig in, listen a lot. It's really, really amazing. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and enjoy the quarantine.
All right, you too.